This video contains images that may disturb some viewers.
Flames of hatred flickering at a haven for the young.
It breaks your heart that we have animals in our city that are prepared to burn down a childcare centre.
The centre in Sydney's eastern suburbs was set alight in the early hours of the morning, complete with anti-Semitic graffiti sprayed in black paint on the wall.
This is a place for children and families, and it should never have been denigrated by this despicable and horrifying crime.
The centre itself isn't specifically for Jewish families, but is around the corner from a synagogue, the latest target in a spate of anti-Semitic attacks in Sydney and Melbourne, with the war in the Middle East stoking tensions closer to home.
It's a wake-up call to the Australian community at large because, unfortunately, anti-Semitism is a disease and it spreads.
As the Premier and Prime Minister inspected the burnt-out Maroubra Centre, politicians elsewhere united in condemnation.
What sort of scumbag would attack a childcare centre?
These attacks must stop.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has consistently rejected calls from the opposition and community members for a national cabinet meeting to tackle the rise in anti-Semitism in Australia.
What people want to see isn't more meetings, they want to see more action.
But today yielded.
National Cabinet will convene on that, and there's a couple of other issues.
And the Prime Minister has been dragged kicking and screaming to hold a meeting of our nation's leaders.
State leaders heading into the meeting calling for change.
What I've seen unfold has wound the clock back a century.
These cowardly, divisive acts of hate need to be stopped.
The Australian Federal Police told the leaders that since a task force into rising anti-Semitism was established, it had received 166 reports, with 15 under investigation and 1 person arrested. The leaders ultimately agreeing to establish a national database to track anti-Semitic crime. National Cabinet was created to deal with national crises, and Anthony Albanese's decision to talk to fellow leaders about these attacks is in itself an admission more could be done to try to stop them. Imagery of a centre for children engulfed in flames also arguably left him with very little choice, especially now it's clear the ceasefire in the Middle East hasn't deterred those targeting Jewish communities here. Stephanie Dalzell, ABC News, Canberra.